Hi guys. No, see, I fucked up already. I forgot what my own name was. Right.
Don't cut that.
Don't cut it. I have to. Hi guys. Ray from Inside FPV here. Welcome back to another monthly podcast. Again, we're joined by Brett Collision FPV Collis, Tom Stanton FPV Stanton, and Justice. No shit now.
Keep it in. There's a lot of FPVs going on, right?
Gary Justice FPV Kent. It's because it says it says Justice FPV under your name. They both say their names. On my screen anyway. Fuck knows what the viewers are going to see. I'll bleep that. Bleep.
I don't even know why we have to keep saying the FPV bit. People only have FPV in their name because otherwise you don't find people. You won't find them.
Yeah. Well, I said to Brett earlier, I was searching for Kent KwadClub earlier to try and give someone the link. I searched for Kent Quad FPV and it was just coming up with Gary Kent FPV. Just coming up links to you.
You know, now I'm going to have to go away and Google that myself as well.
Google yourself. Yeah. Gemma, look, I'm on top hit on YouTube on Google.
I'm famous. Yeah, if you search my name exactly.
Yeah. If I search Tom Stanton, it comes out of all sorts of stuff. Right, well, I'm going to do a slightly different on this podcast. In the notes, description box below, I'll put an annotation of what we've discussed and the time. So if people want to skip backwards and forwards and not listen to us ramble about nonsense, you can skip to the time and listen to the subject matter. But to start us off, we've had an email in from a Justine FPV, and she is an avid viewer from Kent, and she would like to know how long roughly it would take you to teach someone to fly a racing drone. Who wants to start us off? Say again?
First question, what counts as flying?
It's a successful lap of a track without skipping any gates. Just one single lap we do it. Like if you can do one lap, you can do them continuously, but start with one continuous lap, one solid lap. How long do you think? Complete noob, never flown anything before, give them a quad, give them a transmitter. How long do you think from start to finish?
I reckon it really depends on the person.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest factor.
Because I got some friends that I reckon I could teach to fly literally within, like they could do a track within a few days, I reckon.
Yeah.
But then I've got some friends that I wouldn't be able to teach ever. So
yeah.
I reckon if you come from an online gaming background,
yeah, I
reckon it's a lot easier. Just you get the hand-eye coordination a lot quicker, and you're used to looking at a screen, but you're just not used to seeing the real. You're just not used to seeing the real world. So once you get your head around that, and you've got the dexterity to control the sticks, then I reckon you can teach someone like that pretty quickly.
Definitely.
Yeah, if you're used to gaming, because that's all, like the muscle memory in your thumbs, you don't overreact. Because when I give the missus a go, she is just slow reactions and then overreacts. So it's literally up, down, and that's it. There's no fine control there. It's full throttle up, no throttle, full throttle up, no throttle. Yeah. If you're used to I always say to people, if you can kill someone on Call of Duty, you can fly a drone.
I reckon you're right. Yeah. Well, we definitely got to get some more people in the hobby from somewhere, and I think the best place to pick them up is definitely going to be online gaming and just gaming in general.
Yeah. Esports is kind of where the crossover is.
Yeah, we definitely need more people in the hobby, and I think this year we're going to see a lot more people turn up to events that we didn't see last year, which will be really good because it's nice to just have lots of, not necessarily have loads and loads of pilots at every event, but like varied pilots at every event, which will be.
Yeah, it's always nice to see new faces and race against different people and stuff like that.
It's good when you get people who people don't know in a way, and they turn up and I guess challenge the establishment as stuff. When people come out of nowhere and suddenly it's like, whoa, this guy's pretty fast or whatnot. That's pretty good to see.
I've got a few names that are going to do that this year. I've been speaking to people, and I know a few people this year that are going to throw some shocks out there. So it'll be interesting to see. But I'm sure you've all seen my video with Jack Denby Smith, who learned to fly on the simulator, and then I took him out for real life flying on his one day. He learned to fly within an hour, basically, from practicing on the simulator to real life, like not including his sim time, but real life flight time. Within an hour, he was doing continuous laps of the track.
How long did he spend on the sim?
I think he said he did it in between like 20 and 30 hours, something like that.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
20, 30 hours.
he was really well. He was pretty damn good. He could get around the track by the end of the day, which is quite impressive considering he never touched it before.
Yeah,
but he was an online gamer as well, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He played Rocket League at Insomnia, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like the hardest of tracks, but it wasn't an easy track. Like it wasn't straight. All the gates were on straights, but there was hairpin turns and rights and lefts, and it was a all right average track, I'd say. And he managed to get around.
What did he say the differences between like going from the sim to like a real quad were?
The main thing he found.
I didn't watch the video, but I can't remember. Sorry.
Yeah, it was a while ago now. It was in the last summer. I don't know. I think the main difference he thought was the throttle. The throttle was so much more sensitive, whereas in the sim you can just lean forward and full throttle it and you go forwards, whereas in real life you just climb. Yeah. And ballooning on corners, when you go around a corner, you need to control it a lot more because otherwise you just balloon massively up in the air.
What sim was it? What sim was it again?
That was dronesimulation.co.uk.
Yeah. I think have they made changes to that since?
It's constantly being updated. Yeah,
it's got changed since then. It's a bit better now, I think, definitely.
Yeah,
because I always find the throttle's not as responsive as it is on my real world quad. That's why I tend to not play it so much anymore because it's just I'd rather go out and find my real quad.
Yeah, well, you can see on when they do the races and people get their fastest lap times and they're just literally pin the throttle, full throttle, and just fly around the track, and you couldn't do that in real life. So.
Yeah, that way.
Yeah.
I think also a big aspect is they have to have the drive to practice. Like, not an average person can spend 20, 30 hours on the simulator as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I used to fly model helicopters and I got my dad on the simulator. He wanted to smash the screen in 20 minutes. Yeah. You can't force people to learn it.
Nah.
But your dad was never a gamer though, right? I think the gamers have got that. They've got that ability to stick with it for a little bit longer. But if you've not done anything like that before, you get frustrated a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Whereas the gamers I think they'll stick with it for a little bit longer because they know they're just used to working things out and just hanging in there and getting good at stuff. Whereas the average Joe, if he was to pick up a quad, he'd be frustrated pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the same for a lot.
In terms of that, simulator is really good for kind of getting somebody in because you don't have the frustrations of changing props every
breaking everything.
And it's relatively cheap, like compared to what it would cost you to get into it and start. You can practice for 6 months before what it even cost you to buy a drone and a controller.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing. And I think hopefully we'll maybe see, because also like currently you still have to say you need to buy like a Tyrannus or something like that, get practicing. That's quite a big investment.
Yeah.
So there's no reason why you couldn't get something that's kind of just good enough and only like £20-30 for an actual transmitter that you plug in, and it's just meant for simulator use in a way.
Yeah.
Because of like you get flight sims that include stuff like that, and they're like £100, and then you'd pay like 80 quid for the software. Something like that. It's like the same price as an Xbox controller. Hopefully you can kind of work for people in getting them in, because an Xbox controller can work, but it's still nothing like flying with a real kind of radio controller, I guess, on the sim.
Yeah, they do feel quite different. When we had the simulators at Insomnia last time, people were sat down with Xbox controllers and they found it really weird.
Yeah.
But if you give them a Tyrannus, then it just feels a lot more natural.
Was that the real pilots found the Xbox?
Trying to fly with it, because I guess the feedback in the gimbals and an Xbox controller compared to a Tyrannus is just totally different.
But what about the other way around? What about the gamers that came and played and had to go on the Xbox controller compared to the Tyrannus?
I'm not sure actually. I'll ask Jack, because I'm not sure if he just sat down and flew with a Tyrannus straight away, or if he had to go on the Xbox one, because he spent nearly the whole weekend just at the drone simulation stand just playing it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what he started with. I can ask him. But he's going to be at some events this year actually. So
it'd be interesting to see how much he's improved. I don't know how much he's flying now, but
he hasn't had as much practice over the winter as he'd have hoped because of the weather and his job. So, but in the summer, I expect him to make some progress.
The weather.
Yeah, that's the only downer from the gamers. The gamers are used to sitting in their nice, warm, cosy house in their underpants playing on the games. This you have to actually get dressed to go out in the rain and in the cold. It's horrible.
Yeah. Quad flying doesn't have the convenience factor that gaming does.
But if they can compete online in the simulator, because the sim's getting multiplayer soon, which will add a whole new element to it. So if you can get a group of your mates and race against them, then that changes it as well. Because just practice on your own, even on the, like we said, on the old heli simulators, I'd fly on it for 5 minutes and I'd get bored, and then we'd do a group fly together, and it'd be funny because we'd just mess around and crash into stuff, and I wasn't really practicing doing any flying, I was just pissing around. Yeah. But competing against people like an actual game, that adds a whole different element to it again, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully the sim will get people involved in the game, more gamers will come in, and then we end up with more pilots, because we need to sustain the hobby and feed in pilots somehow. Otherwise it'll end up, everyone will give up, and there'll be the 10 of us just competing against each other around the world. So moving on from that, one of the ways that they are trying to get people involved in the UK is they're just setting up a permanent indoor drone arena, I guess you would call it, a drone race circuit, a bit like a skate park but for racing, up in Nottingham, due to open next month. March the 18th is the first event, which is going to be an iSeries League event. They're going to have a store there so you can buy all your quad parts and stuff like that. They're going to have I think tuition there, so they can teach people how to fly. They're going to have their own quad, so you can go there and just fly their quads and not your own, so you can get a taster of it without spending any money. Not sure what else they're going to have there, some other things. It sounds interesting. It's all being built at the moment. The videos look a bit interesting.
Yeah, that video from P-Boy today or yesterday, that was pretty interesting. It looks like, I don't know, for our quads it's not really a big space, but it is a big space if you know what I mean.
I think if you use it well, you can have a really good track in there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the video didn't look too bad compared to, say, the NEC, when we have crazy multipathing and the video breaks up like mental. It didn't look too bad on his video. I know it was only him flying on his own, and there's nothing in there yet, no Wi-Fi, not many walls or anything like that. But it didn't look as bad as I expected.
Right. And because it's their kind of premises, I guess, in a way, they can control everything in it.
Yeah.
It's like the NEC, even if you shut the Wi-Fi down in the hall that you're in, there's still other events going on. They're just chucking out God knows what, and you have no control over that.
Yeah, it's hard to tell until you've got like 6 pilots in there at the same time. Indoors is such a random environment with the multipathing, so until you get 6 pilots up, you can never say for sure whether it's going to be good video or not.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll find out next month at the first iSeries League event for 2017, following on from last year. They only had 2, I think it was only 2 events that they had last year, 2 iSeries events.
Yeah, iSeries and then UKDS, essentially.
Yeah, because the other one got cancelled in the end, didn't it? So, following on, they've got 5 scheduled for this year at the moment, with possibly a grand final at the end of that in December sometime, I think. So, any plans to attend that? I know Brett did quite well at last year's iSeries. He managed to win it. Are you planning on defending your title this year, Brett?
Yeah, signed up for the first one, and maybe the second one. I know I did some of them. I've forgotten which ones I did, but like I'll probably, if there's no other date clashes, I'll go to all of them pretty much.
Yeah, I didn't get to do an iSeries event for all sorts of reasons. But I've signed up for the first one, but I haven't committed to the other ones yet because I don't know if there's any events, if they're clashing with anything else. But it's really good that they put all the dates out there straight away. It's really good for other pilots to just be able to commit to those. They know for definite that those are going to be event days. So, and hopefully other events can look at the dates for that and schedule around them, because it's horrible when you've got 2 major events in the UK and you want to attend both, but they're clashing on the same day. So it's really good that they put it out early. It's one of the few event organisers that have done that, and I think that's really appreciated. Well, I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. It's a breath of fresh air to actually have some notice and not just go, there's a race event next week, and you're like, what?
I think also for like families and stuff, you can organise stuff around that, or if you have to work sometimes, it makes it so much easier rather than like 2 weeks before. Oh, can I go, please? And then you end up begging for like the next week or something to try and go to it.
Yeah, definitely. It's much easier to plan stuff around when they let you know early.
And Tom, are you planning on getting to some iSeries? I know you enjoyed last year's iSeries. I've seen the video.
Tom's retired, I thought.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I need to get back into the quad world a bit.
Yeah. Well, nothing better than an iSeries event to do it. Unfortunately, there won't be any pub quizzing or anything like that, but I'm sure we'll still have a fun day.
Yeah, I need to get my quads working out. I don't think I've flown in like 3 months or so now.
Really?
Tom's going to turn up with his VTOL.
Well, what do we do to teach someone to fly, and then you can teach me how to fly?
A refresher course.
Yeah.
For a small fee, I can arrange a lesson with you from the world champion. Whoever you want the world champion to be, there's a couple that claim it.
It'd be good for you to play the sim. Play the sim first and then go back to flying your quad.
Oh, that'd be weird.
Yeah, that would be. But it'd be funny to know what differences you feel, even though you've flown quads before. If you haven't flown for a while, to just fly the sim, just do it for like a couple of weeks and then fly your real quad.
I don't think the sim's that bad now. Like I've swapped like day versus day with them. I flew with the sim for a few hours one evening, then went flying the next morning, and within a pack or two, it didn't feel like I was rusty at all on the real quad. For me, at least.
Oh yeah, I think it'd probably do you a bit of benefit to wake your thumbs back up. Although you have been flying your VTOL stuff, so you are so used to flying. But it's just if you haven't flown your helicopter for a year or however long you haven't flown it for, would you go on the helicopter simulator just quickly to practice some manoeuvres before you went out and flew your 700?
Nah, it's more exciting when there's got 1,000-pound levitating.
I don't think I'll go on the simulator. I just take it easy, you know.
Yeah. I've seen you're taking it easy. It's better than my 3D flying.
The batteries have been taken out my 700 for the first time in 3 years and put in an electric bike instead.
Okay. so 6 L5000s?
Yeah.
And you just running one, or you running them in parallel?
One at the moment.
Okay. Is that just a fun project you got, not a uni project or anything like that? Just something for a bit of fun?
Yeah.
And are you going to put it on your channel?
Yeah.
I'm sure people will want to see it. Especially if there's crashes. Just make sure you record everything, because if there's a crash, people will definitely want to see that.
Oh, my mate fell off his electric skateboard the other day. I should have recorded that.
So painful. Oh, well, as well as iSeries League, we also have a new league this year, started up by the guys down at Popham Airfield, KwadClub. It is a 6-event league, closed event to the same 24 pilots. So it'll be the same pilots at every single race, and then at the end of it, they have a grand final. I'm not sure how they're structuring the racing and stuff like that.
But it's 5 out of 6 of them count towards your result, so it takes your 5 best results. I don't believe there's a grand final or such.
But one of the races is called the KwadClub Grand Final.
Is it? Well, yeah. I should probably read more about what I'm entering, I think.
Yeah. So you've entered, Brett. Neither of you two have entered it, have you?
No.
Because it's full up now. You can't get in. Now they've got their 24 pilots. It's full, so that's it locked. Unless someone drops out. I'm not sure if anything happens if someone drops out mid-flow. I guess you just drop down to 3 pilots because you can't really join it halfway through either.
I think you can maybe substitute people in if someone can't make an event, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That could be a bit... Where's your video just gone, Brett? That could be a bit dodgy.
It's not working. It broke. Well.
Don't worry, I screenshot your face when it froze.
Yeah, I know. Tell me, man. That's why I tried to get it working again. It's broke.
But you've registered for that, the Kent Quad Club. Not Kent Quad Club. Just Quad Club.
Yeah, I'm registered for that and whatnot. I think it was like kind of maybe there was more people that entered and then they choose like 24 or something like that. But yeah, registered for that, so should be going to all of them.
But just 24 pilots.
Yeah, same 24 pilots for every single race.
That's good. I like that. I like the idea of doing that, and I like you'll get with 24 pilots, you'll get so much flying. I think it'd be really good racing with running.
That's one of the reasons I entered it, because it means that also it gives you more of a kind of a representative. Because when you do like very few races in a day, it's hard to get an idea what people are doing exactly. Whereas the more you do, the more it kind of averages out and really shows people's true pace, and you get to know everyone as well.
Yeah, and the racing gets so much tighter as well because everyone's got the same. The more practice you get, the better you get at the track. But also, it means that the gap, because some pilots pick up tracks faster than others, and the gap's quite big to begin with. But if you've got a lot of practice rounds in, a lot of heats in, then hopefully that gap gets reduced, and by the time you get to the grand finals, you have a really tight racing, which is good for everyone because everyone loves to watch a good race, a good battle.
Yeah, hopefully that allows more such.
Well, it's 4 heats of 6 pilots, I think, by looking at the listing. So if you've only got 4 heats, you should be getting free flying. You'll be flying every 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully they kind of get more practice rounds in, because then it's nice to have that not pressure of flying. But then it means that for the actual racing, everyone knows their limits more. You can really start to push to them rather than just kind of having to risk it for no reason.
It should be quite a good league, I think. They've been working really hard down there. They're doing good stuff. They have their fun flies at Popham Airfield every month. They have 2 a month, I think. I think it's the first Saturday and the 3rd Sunday of every month, something along the lines of that. You can find the dates on the KwadClub website or on the IFPB calendar. But yeah, it's great for beginners, great for practice. They're doing good stuff down there. So hopefully the league goes really well. 6 different venues, as far as I know, around the country as well. So you get to travel about. It's not all just down south. There's some not too far north, but they're moving up north a little bit. So
yeah, I saw a sneaky screenshot of a wooded area that's not too far from here.
Yeah. And if they hold it there, then we can go and spectate as well, so we can show them.
Yeah, I can look out my back window and have and just see the pilots flying around.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully the league goes well. We need more and more like that. The more the better, really. And then we could have inter-league competitions and stuff like that. If we had 5-6 leagues in the UK, then each league has a winner and they can compete against each other, stuff like that. So the more the better.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and Delta Hawks have just announced their first event of the year as well. I think they held 3 events last year, and they've just got their first one coming up in May. I think sign-ups goes up in March. I think the sign-up is there.
Already open on the website.
Yeah, it is there if you find it. But I don't think they publicly posted the sign-up page yet. But it is. If you search for it, you might find it.
Yeah.
Anyone planning on the 10th? May the 28th, I think.
So, Tom's just have my events, have my.
That might be my first event then.
Yeah.
I finish exams on the 20th, I think. So yeah, it could be my first event.
Nice. Brett, Gary, any plans on attending?
Not sure, to be honest with you. I'm trying to find out dates for some other events that I'm going to hopefully be doing across Europe. So as soon as I know those, then I can start to sign up for the UK events. But I'm just just waiting on calendars from other people. The last thing I want to do is sign up for a local event and then a big European event comes up and I don't get to race there, or I just have to cancel because I don't want to sign up for a UK event and then have to cancel at the last minute because I take away the spot from somebody else if I leave it too late. So yeah, I take the risk and just not sign up for now. And if I can do it at the last minute, then I will do.
Well, the Ursa website's down at the moment. It says charge your batteries, come back soon, or something along the lines of that. But I have been told that there are quite a lot of European events planned for this year, so there shouldn't be a shortage of events.
Yeah, I actually went and had a look on the FAI website, and they've got a calendar on there. Obviously not as good as the IFBB one, but they've got a lot of events listed on there that I hadn't seen before. So if anyone's looking for events that are going on across Europe, then jump on the FAI website because they've got quite a few on there. And FAI always seem to do a good job. I went to a couple last year, and they're really well supported, well sponsored to get a lot of pilots there. And the skill level is pretty high. So, yeah, if people are looking to find events that are going across Europe, looking to go to events in Europe, then it's a good shout to go and hit that website and see what's.
I'll put a link to their website down in the description so people can find it easily.
Cool.
We need the UK representing around Europe as well because
definitely need more pilots getting into Europe, flying against the French and the Polish guys.
Yeah, Mac's going to be a contender this year. He is so fast and so smooth now.
Mate, his videos look insane. Yeah, insane. He's like looking so smooth, so smooth.
We need to get him over here at a UK event again, or we can go over to Poland. I'd like to go to Poland.
Yeah, hopefully, because last year he ran a couple of events in Poland, so hopefully he'll let us know when they are, and we can pop over there and support him because he's. I think he's really doing a good job in the Polish FPV community. I mean, the last event, I don't know if you saw the video, but the track looked awesome. Really, really good. Like they had a high, I think they had a high gate on a lift. It was like a really high gate. That was
like on a scissor lift type thing.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I know it was a really high gate and it was on a lift, but I can't remember what type of.
Nice.
It was. But it looked really nice.
Well, speaking of tracks, we need some more. I don't know if you call them exciting, technical, funky tracks. Like get more 3D elements in them. Push the limits of the quads really, because there's no point. I don't know who is it that said it. If you can drive an RC car around a quad track, you're doing it wrong, or something along the lines of that. Whatever the quote was.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think in terms of tracks, we need to. I think we just need to kind of make the track more well defined. Is that even the right? I don't know. I'm English, but I don't know if I'm talking English. But yeah, they just need to define the tracks better, so that the sections where you're low, you have to keep low. So you have like gates to keep you low, and then the sections that are high, you have to come from a low gate to a high gate. It's not a case of you're going around the flag, and if you're going around that flag, you can be at any height and then go for a high gate, because there's no. To me, that track is not well defined. It's not a very good track. It's not going to be a very good track for quads, because you're not changing your elevation. You are, but you're not changing it definitively. You can always, like if you go around a flag and then you've got a high gate, you can kind of gradually gain your altitude. Whereas if you're going through a low gate and then going up to a high gate, it's much more exciting. And as a pilot, you have to be a little bit more precise. That's what I find. Anyway.
To compare to, for that, it would be compared to Western Park, where we had to go through that low gate and then straight up through the high gate.
Yeah.
Or compared to the British Championship, where we had a high gate and then you went round a flag and then it was back down to the low gate, and you could just go full throttle out that high gate, take forever to come back down for the low gate. It was so much easier. Whereas Western Park got quite a lot of people out there hitting the crossbar a lot.
I suppose the only advantage to having that flag and high and low gate, whatever it is maybe just have like one of them as an overtaking opportunity.
Yeah.
Because when it's all really tight, it can't get past sometimes. You know?
Yeah, you do need to have passing places. Like some of these light tracks in the US, a lot of them are kind of very well defined, as in you're kept in stuff. But if you come up on someone who's slower than you during that, I haven't flown one myself personally, but it'd be quite difficult to pass. So you need to make sure there's some open sections where you can get around people if need be.
Yeah, when I say well defined, I don't mean a track that's like a tube and you just like flying through a tube. I just mean it's well defined in terms of its altitude changes.
Yeah.
Just so you know that you're going from a high section to a low section or vice versa. Yeah. I just mean defining those sections better, and also like on taking corners as well. Like just having flags on the corner for me doesn't really do much. If you've got flags, you can just pin the throttle all the way around, and it doesn't really. I'm not going to say it doesn't require any skill, but as a pilot, I find it more of a challenge if you would put like a gate on a corner. You just got to maintain that height control a bit better. You can have a high gate or a low gate on a corner. It doesn't matter, but you just need to define that corner a little bit better.
For each checkpoint / gate, you should be kind of constrained in both kind of, I guess, like kind of left and right and then up and down as well. Whereas a flag just lets you do whatever you want. You just have to make sure you go further enough. So
at the least hard. They should have two flags on the corner, so you go between them rather than just overshoot the corner by about 300 miles, turn around and come back again.
If you want to make it a real challenge, then you like constrain them with a gate on height as well. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Well, we should see a few more interesting tracks again this year, I guess.
So I was going to say is if you want to make a more interesting track, you've got to like involve the environment as well. So like for example, if you're flying in a forest, then you really do have to control your altitude a little bit more. Whereas like when you're setting up a track in a field, then it's a lot harder to do. I appreciate that, but it can be done. But also, like I say, choosing the right location to have your track. I mean, you can pick a location that will allow you to have define the track a little bit better.
Yeah, natural obstacles are always great. Not only does it make setting up the track a lot easier and quicker, but they visually look better.
Yeah, definitely.
But But a variety. I wouldn't want all the tracks to be exactly the same. Like, 'cause I know the Delta Hawks guys have had a fair bit of stick for their tracks, and not everyone likes them. Some people love them, some people hate them, some people are indifferent. But, a variety is always good, because the people that like their tracks will go to their races, and the people that don't like their tracks won't go to their races. But that brings up the question of, should the track be made available before the event? Because otherwise you don't know what you're signing up for. You could sign up to an event and then just get there and it's just some ridiculously rubbish track that you don't want to fly, and then you're stuck there killing batteries or just flying round in circles at full throttle or whatever it could be.
I think something that has a mix of both rewards pilot, because it means that there may be a fast section, but there's no point doing that flat out and then going into a tight section because you're just going to crash, aren't you? You have to kind of manage your speed in a way. It's one way to do it.
Yeah, well, I whenever we practice, I prefer to have a fast section and a technical section because I'm weak in both areas, so I like to practice both. So it's handy for me to have both, but I know you guys love your technical tight stuff. So especially with these new Forza gates, which I can't even barely get through, I just keep smashing into them. So I'm going to have to recalibrate myself, and I, Mr. Kent.
I've got a software upgrade for you, my friend.
Yeah. I need it for this year. I'm definitely going to struggle in this year's races. I know that for sure. The amount of people that have been improving, just looking at the results from the start of last year to the end of last year, so many people have improved drastically, and we have some real up and coming pilots this year. I know some of the youngsters are going to be giving you guys a run for your money. I'll tell you that.
Wait, I'm not young. What?
No, mate,
you're the old one here.
Yeah, you're over 20 now, middle aged. Gary's over the hill for a drone racing pilot.
What are you talking about? 21.
21.
Just like Luke's 12.
Yeah. Luke does look a lot older now. Someone posted a picture from Dubai the other day, and just looking at him from Dubai to now, he looks so much older, and it's only like a year, isn't it? Something like that.
Over a year, isn't it?
It's not even a year. It was
wasn't it like March, April last year?
Yeah. Everything changes so fast in this sport. It's unbelievable. Like,
a lot did happen.
A lifetime ago.
Yeah. So much has happened in the last year. It's it feels like we've been flying for forever. Well, I know me, Brett and Tom have been flying for ages, but not racing. We've been flying together for about 7 years now. I think 7 years this year. Unfortunately, racing wasn't about, and it just cost me loads in crashing 3D helicopters into the floor rather than quads. So it's an expensive 7 years. But when you turn up to these events, all the super international ones, I guess they have some pretty crazy tracks that you haven't got a clue what to expect until you get there, and you've travelled halfway across Europe to get to an event. You don't know what you're getting there. How do you go about fitting yourself in there and approaching a new track? And do you get much practice on them, or you just chuck straight into racing? Because when there's 100 odd pilots, I'd assume you don't get 5 rounds of practice each.
Yeah, I think Ursa have done quite a good job of letting people know that the track beforehand, or at least like a week beforehand. Was it the Euros that was published beforehand on the simulator?
Ibiza, yeah, I think.
No, it was a test track, so it had the elements that would be in the real track beforehand.
Oh,
they
yeah,
didn't publish it beforehand. I think it changed at the last minute as well, but yeah, I don't know exactly. I think you need to make sure people have practice rounds before you go into qualifying as much as possible, because it makes better racing in the end, rather than everyone crashing and it being more down to a bit of luck.
Yeah, I think it's really important to get your practice rounds in. So just when you turn up to an event, you sometimes, if the weather looks changeable, you just want to make sure you get laps in. Just make sure you don't crash. If you think you're going to crash, turn around and take the gate again. I mean, that's what I do when I go to an event. If I think I'm going to crash, or I think even if I think I'm just going to clip the gate slightly, I just turn around and just turn back around and just keep going. Just keep getting as many laps as you can and finding the optimum line for the track. Yeah. Even if you have to even if you just have to keep turning around for every gate, if you fly your full pack at every practice session, during every practice session, you're going to be so much better than if you try to fly full speed from Lipo 1, you just, if you clip a gate and you go down, you lose, well, you've lost probably about 5, 6 laps. So you're 5 or 6 laps down on the next person that's completed.
Yeah, well, we see that in the UK a lot, because we normally only get 1 or 2 practice rounds on the UK races, and you'll see everyone like, this is practice, this is practice. They just go straight out nuts, and half the people crash straight away on the first lap. You think they're all annoyed because they haven't got any lap time in, but all you have to do is just take your time and just. I know you can get caught up in the racing atmosphere. Me and Badlands do it. I remember our one of our races. It was just a practice, and me and Badlands were just flying around next to each other, just casually, and everyone's like, "Go on then, go on then." And we just both got egged onto a race in the practice. So it happens. But
I think when you're practicing, you can be dropping, like, at first, in the first few laps, you'll drop like 5% of your lap time every lap. So the more you do, the quicker you get, like, long term. Whereas if you don't do that, you could lose out on like 20% lap time, and you have to do that while trying to qualify, which is always risky when you don't know what's that. It's better to do 5 laps at 50% speed than 2 laps at 100% and crash. Like, you'll learn far more.
Yeah. How long do you think it takes you to learn a track? Like we all saw your video the other week, Gary, your 12 laps in 12 batteries. But then batteries, they are back to back to back rather than do a practice round, wait an hour, do a practice round, wait an hour. Do you think that makes a big difference being able to do batteries back to back rather than having long intervals in between batteries and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't do all those batteries back to back to back. I think I split it in 2. So yeah, I think I did about 4 or 5, and then did another, and then did the rest of them. But it's definitely better to have a break in between because you're replicating your practice environment. I would say, but if sometimes you want to just go out there and fly, so you just fly back to back to back because you're just having a good time. But if you want to really, I think if you really want to practice and replicate the same race environment, then you'd fly, and then I would say have like a, I don't know, 5-6 minute break, something like that. Just chat to your mates and that, and then fly again, and then you're really replicating the race environment then. But whether I don't know whether that's the best way to practice or not. I don't know whether it's better to just fly pack after pack and get the muscle memory, and work on muscle memory, or fly, like I say, like you would in a race environment. I'm not completely sure what's the best way to do it. I'd say probably just mix it up.
Mixture is normally, if you don't know the answer, is normally a mixture of everything's good. You can't really go wrong.
It's not just about actually flying pack after pack after pack. Like, we went out flying the other day and I maybe flew like 20 packs and I just wasn't getting any faster. And I literally like stopped flying for like half an hour or not and watched Gary's video. And based on just watching his lines, I improved probably like a second or 2 a lap just by watching his, because I was trying to just aim for the gate and go through as fast as possible, which doesn't work long term. Once you start to reach the limit, you have to find the lines more than anything.
Yeah.
Kind of looking at that, and then I went back and kind of changed it, and that definitely kind of improved both my consistency and
I guess that's what
approached it.
Because that when I did that video, I wanted to talk over the top of it and say what I was trying to do, because there's a lot of times I watched I was watching the footage back and I was headed for the gate and I just turned around. And the reason that I was turning around is not because I couldn't make the gate. I could have made the gate, but I wouldn't have made the line that makes the gate, that makes the next turn that much easier. And I wanted to always find the line, so that once I'd found the line, it just become that much more natural to just fly the track. So you will get faster. You just want to find the right line. So if you're not on the right line to go for a gate, I was just turning around and making sure I got on that line again for the next one.
You've got to be thinking one gate ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes even more than that in some tracks.
Depending on the track.
Yeah. Making one gate from any angle is easy, but making the next 2 gates after that and making it all one thing where you're not just hoping that you make it through the last gate. That's like the difference.
When you get on the smooth flow, it's lovely.
Yeah.
So sorry, say again.
That's what makes the difference between like a really good pilot and a good pilot, is just that kind of anticipation of thinking about the overall lap time rather than just that section. Yeah,
because it's like in Top Gear on the celebrity in a car thingy. They always say smooth is fast. Like you might have looked slow, but you were really smooth, and then they come out with an amazing time. Like if you can get the whole track in one smooth, continuous line, you're going to be faster than someone that's doing sections fast and out of control and stuff like that.
Yeah, and once you get that line as well, you find like even if it's quite a tight track, once you've got the right line, you can find that you've got more. You've got kind of a little bit more. I'd call it grip in the corner, and you think, oh, hold on a minute, I've got the right line. I can put a little bit more power down here, and you start to you just put a little bit more, add a little bit more power. So once you've found that line, you can start working on putting a little bit more acceleration in certain parts. So once you've found the line, you can start to build on the speed a little bit better, rather than just taking it gate by gate, like heading as fast as you can towards one gate, and then just blowing the turn out, and then heading in the wrong direction towards the next gate. I mean, like I say,
yeah, and your video did show that really well, actually, because you can see on your first few batteries where you're finding the line, but once that line clicks in, every battery is just faster, just cleaning up every single mistake, tightening it all up, and just increasing the pace.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping it was gonna show. It was just a shame I couldn't find time to talk over the top of it, but yeah.
Well, our sport, if you want to call it a sport these days, sport, hobby, whatever you want to call it, is it's kind of unique in that way, because if you're at a race and you're struggling with a track, you can always just tune into someone who's going around that fast and just look at their lines and just look where you're making mistakes, where you're bleeding time, and just copy them. Like, if someone's got a better line than you into a corner, there's no shame in copying their line if it's a better line. Like,
I think you can look at your own DVR as well. Like, if you DVR it and look back at it, you can learn just the same as kind of Formula One racing drivers. They look at their data after doing kind of practice and qualifying runs, and they think, right, I could go quicker than this, quicker here, slower here. And I think you can do the same thing just by looking at your DVR, but you need to look at it. It's very hard to do that while you're still trying to fly and make the tracks, which is the problem. You need to be kind of slightly detached from it, I guess, and look at it from that perspective, is what I would say.
Yeah, that's probably one of the hardest things to do, especially if you turn up at an event as well and you're limited on the number of batteries you've got. While you're flying, you've actually got to think about, well, I didn't take that. I could have took that corner a little bit wider and got a better line into the next gate. It's really hard to do that, to have that foresight of kind of, what did I do wrong on the last lap? How can I clean it up on this one? You end up having to go back and watch your DVR. The pilots that can do it lap after lap and kind of just improve on every lap and think about it as they're flying, I think they're the ones that have got the true advantage. Whereas the ones that kind of have to go away, look at somebody else's footage or look at your DVR, then you're kind of, your progression is going to be a little bit slower, but you're going to have good progression.
I think that's where the track can make a difference as well. Like, some tracks you have bits where it's just a straightaway, you don't really have to think that much about it, whereas if it's a track where you're constantly on it, you have to constantly be thinking about the next turn, that's where it's a lot harder to do. Whereas if it's a track where it's like a hairpin at one point and then you go straight down a straight through one gate, you know you've got loads of space at the end of it, that's when you can kind of think about what you've just done maybe. But a real track should be something that keeps you 100% on the ball all of the time, because that's where you get the real challenge.
Yeah, definitely. Those tracks that I've seen quite a few people with long tracks with just long straights and a hairpin at the end. They're okay for a little while, but me personally, I'd get very bored of those, because it kind of, for me, that kind of comes down to who's got the best setup and who's got the best quad, and it's not about like who's taking the best line and managing to put the power down at the right time and just getting a really nice flow around the track, and like that's the type of flying that I enjoy. That I don't enjoy the kind of full throttle, who's got the best batteries, who's got the best motors, and that kind of.
That's what we kind of touched on that when we were talking about DRL the other day. How when because they've got exactly the same quads on the home straight, when they both pin it, it's not who's got the fastest quad. It's whoever got into the line the best for the home straight, and whoever got in front. You rarely ever see someone who's in front on the home straight get overtaken by another quad, because their quads are identical. They can't just power past someone and go, yes, I've got a better battery, I've got better motors, whatever. It's just...
Yeah, like there was a few sequences in when they did it for Manhattan. They kind of started low, then they came up to a high gate and then down to the finish gate. And they're identical quads, and people made passes through that sequence, and that was just down to the lines they were taking and how they were approaching it, rather than just because, I've got a better battery than you. Yeah. They're identical in every way, and that's where it kind of shows a real pilot making the passes and something like that.
Yeah, that's one of the big advantages of having everyone flying the same quad and just having the same setup. But I think we can do the same. We can do the similar thing by not having the same setups. But we just got to have tracks that promote pilot skill over the spec of somebody's quad. I think.
Yeah.
I think it can be done both ways.
Also,
with a non-spec class, you could do it. We just have to, like I say, you have to probably set your track out in the right way to take advantage of that.
If you do it right, you can make a track that rewards, because obviously some setups are faster in a straight line, but there may be more of a handful in the corners. So you can make a track that means that you will get that kind of, I guess, like that back and forth, because people will be faster in certain sections but slower in others, and that's where you get really exciting races, like in other motorsport as well.
Yeah, definitely. I like to see that, where you've got sections of the track where one setup's slightly better than another setup, and then in the other section the other one's better. I think we saw, who was it? I think it was you, Rat, when you were racing at one of the events. I think you were racing against Martin, and he was faster in one section and you were faster in another. It was really,
I had a few like that,
Martin. To watch.
One was Thunder Drone, where at the start of last year we was like that, and then the other one was the small event at Little Leamington Hobby Centre, the one that Lee won.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Martin had a few funny battles in that as well. So
from a spectator's point of view, it's amazing to watch when it's like that. When you know someone's faster in different sections of the track, it's really good to watch as a spectator.
Well, even from a pilot's point of view, it's fun because you can be behind someone and you can I know that I'm faster than them through this little section, and then you get past them. Like you take your line, which is slightly better than theirs, you get past them, and then you're chugging away. You think, yes, I've done them, and then suddenly they go past you again. You think, crap, what line's he taking through here? Let's do me every time through this section.
That's when you go back and watch the DVR.
Yeah, that's right. I'll be like, yeah, I'll be on your line through the next one, mate. See you later. What do you think, Tom? Or have you just put a picture up here and gone to the toilet or something? You haven't. I don't think you've moved. Still a picture.
Yeah, sorry, what were we talking about?
In the two events that you went to last year, which one do you like?
Yeah, they're all good. I find that when I go to an event, it's actually quite rare that I properly learn the track. I actually say that I feel 100% comfortable around the track. I think the only tracks really are like when we do a weekend event, like Western. You mentioned that in the last podcast. I find it quite hard to get the hang of a track at events.
Do you find you beat yourself up a bit more though? Like, do you find you don't like the pressure or anything like that? Like, and if you make a mistake and crash out, that's it. You're just pissed off for the rest of the event, rather than just getting on with it.
Depends.
Yeah.
Yes and no, really. Yeah.
Some people are different. Some people like, if I crash out, I'm just normally like, meh, whatever. Like, as long as it wasn't anything serious. But some people, they absolutely hate it, and you can see it affects them for the next few races. Like they'll wind themselves up and get stressed, and then sometimes they don't get over it, and they just continue to crash. Some people just let it go really well.
Get the red mist and fly like that. Like,
it does stress me out.
But like, there's people who just, you can tell they get too frustrated, and it will never help them in the long run. They need to just take a look back and go, right, that happened, but what can I do to improve upon it and move on?
Yeah.
There's no point. It doesn't matter now. It's irrelevant.
It can be really difficult though at events when you know you've only got limited practice time, and you may have a crash. You may have a crash where it's not your fault. People crash into each other all the time.
Yeah.
And like, say you've got five races, and you know that 4 of those are going to count towards your overall lap time, and you crash and you make a mistake yourself, and then someone crashes into you in another one. The pressure's really on to get three decent qualifying sessions in. So yeah, it can be really, really difficult. I've had that a few times where I've crashed, or I've clipped a gate, or someone's clipped me. I've gone down, and then I know that for the next 3 races I have to complete every single lap. It's really like the pressure does build massively when you do make a mistake, or you just have one. You just crash into somebody, or somebody crashes into you. I mean, we all know what it's like. It can happen to anybody, and it does affect people in different ways.
Getting your first qualifying run down and kind of out of the way successfully is like a massive psychological boost for me, at least, kind of an event. Especially if it's quite a big event, you think, yes, okay, that's out of the way. And you've got, I guess, like a buffer in a way.
Well, I used to use the first round for me to get some good points on the board, because so many people go out on the first round and crash. So I'd happily just fly around, do 3-4 laps, nice and slow, steady pace on the first qualifier, and I'd come in 4th, 5th, because everybody else has crashed. Like, people would do 2 laps and crash, and I'm there just banking in my 4-lapper, like slow as anything, and it just puts me on a nice start off already, and I can just relax for the next few rounds. I know that as long as I don't crash out and come last, I'm going to finish mid-pack and do like that one qualifying round just bumps me up to a decent position.
I think it will get harder and harder to, I guess, bank like the first qualifying though, as people get better and better. People, as people kind of the quality of contestants improves, I guess, you won't just be able to coast round.
No, definitely not.
Points, because there'll be more and more consistent people that will do it.
Yeah, you'll need to be consistent and fast this year. There's no way that just fast or just consistent is going to be enough. I think there's enough fast and enough consistent people that you need to be both this year.
I think this reminds me of what's good about what some events have been doing. Like I've been to a few events that they do like your best qualifying time over 3 laps. So you'll do like 4 heats, but they'll qualify you on your best 3 consecutive laps.
Ibiza was like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of events that I've been to that Scully's been the race director of, he's released the pilots. So like pilot 1 would go, and then like 5 seconds later, pilot 2 will go, and pilot 3 will go. So you avoid that potential collision. I mean, obviously, some people are faster than others, and you're going to have to overtake at some point. But it kind of avoids that kind of 3-2-1 go, and everybody piles into the first gate, and it's kind of a bit of a lottery.
Yeah.
And the events that I've been to that have done that, have just released pilots in that way, have been really good. I've really enjoyed them, because you don't have that first gate collision on your first pack. So yeah, there's definitely different ways of doing it, and I think that is one of the better ways of doing it. Just to kind of qualify people and seed them for the knockout stage. I think it's a good way. I think comfortable with the track. I think it gives you more opportunity to get more laps in.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll see a lot of tweaking and testing still this year, because it's still a really new sport, so they haven't found the perfect scenario for anything yet. We haven't found the perfect track, we haven't found the perfect format, we haven't found the perfect scoring system or anything. So,
I'm going to disagree with you there, because I think they have found the perfect format, and it's double elimination.
Oh yeah, but nobody's really done that yet, have they?
Well, they do it in the States, and it works brilliantly.
I
always think double elimination is the best way. I've always thought double elimination will be the best way to do it, because it kind of cuts out that you have a technical issue, somebody crashes into you. You always get that second chance to drop down into the lower bracket and work your way back up. People say that it's really difficult to understand, but I don't think
if you lose twice, you're out. If you win everything, you win.
Yeah,
it's treated like that, and that's all that matters.
Well, I haven't seen any events run that way yet. Are they running events like that in the States, and are they?
In the US, they've been doing
They've run a few, but I haven't seen anyone in the UK do it. I'd love for it to be done like that in the UK.
Europe, there was talk of running mini air show like that this year, wasn't there? I'm not sure if they're still planning on doing it. But
I don't know. It'd be fantastic if they did, because, like I say, I haven't personally done an event like that, but looking at it from an outside perspective, that seems to be the perfect way to run a race.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully people will listen and try it out this year. We can always recommend it and ask it. I'll put it forward to the Racing Association, see what they think. If they want to, maybe we could run the British Championships like that, but I'm sure I'll get booed and hissed at for suggesting it. So,
I don't know how well the software that runs the races, I don't know if all the software can do double elimination. I think that might be one of the big problems.
I'm pretty sure Eric said it can, but it was just a bit of a pain in the arse, or it was complicated or something along the lines of that. But I'll ask him.
One could do it like all automated, whereas the software, like for example on the TBS race tracker or event tracker, that's what it's called, can do it, and like the multi-GP software Lapsync, it does it all for you as such. So you just kind of do your qualifying, it takes your top 32 or 64, and then you can choose like the single and double elimination. It will work it all out for you can tell you the frequency changes. So hopefully that makes it easier. Once the software is there, it makes it a lot easier for the race directors, especially once everyone knows what they're doing.
Well, hopefully we'll get to compete in an event this year with it run that way then, and we'll get to test it out and see what it's like. Because, like I said, I've never seen any events run like it, so I don't really know. I understand the format, but I've never seen anyone run it yet. So it'd be nice to try.
And then again, the online gamers will be used to that format as well, because it's I think that's the kind of format that they use for tournaments as well. Well, when I used to game, that was the kind of format we used. That's why I thought it would work really well. For quads, so.
Cool. Well, we've been here for coming on an hour now, so I guess we should wrap it up, because also my laptop battery's going to die if we carry on. Tom's gone back to sleep again, so Brett's camera's dead.
It doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. I think we should probably wrap this one up. So I'd just like to thank you guys for coming on and chatting again. If anyone's watching and they have any topics that they'd like to hear us talk about on our narcissistic selves. Oh, have I died?
Frozen.
I'm back.
Hello? Your back.
Yeah. It's kind of back.
All right. Well, if you can hear me, thanks.
We can hear you.
All right. Well, yeah, if anyone wants to hear us talking about ourselves more, let us know what they would like to talk about. Thanks very much for watching, and see you next month.
Take care, mate.
Hopefully that recorded. I'm